What up, guys? Welcome to another Indie Monday. Moving on with the Toyworld Constructor set, we have Burden, who is their version of Long Haul. I like the idea of Burden. He's the beast of Burden. Carries stuff. It's a cool name, actually. And there was always a fun playability to him because he's a dump truck. Now we got a big one. And as I've mentioned before with this series, they're very close to the G1 designs, and I dig that. Like, look at this big guy. I mean, you got the huge grill, you got the headlights and all that still there. Very simplified head, things like that. Still has the dump truck bed for legs, and yeah, still got the top of the thing back here as a backpack. I digs it. Now, one good thing of technology evolving, you actually can have movable legs, unlike the original G1, which they were tied together, you know. I did have some issues when I first got him because I couldn't figure out what to do with these because, once again, the instructions are terrible. But, you know, for what he is, he's pretty cool. A few accessories he comes with is, of course, his gun, which is a nice representation. You know, a little scopy thing and some good red paint, as usual. And other accessories that this guy is supposed to have, and, you know, it's an upgrade set, so to speak, is these little foot skis, because otherwise, he's super back heavy. I can't pull this off. There's never been that stuck before, ever. So you can see there, the foot is like super small without it. So if you really wanted to be standing around in robot mode, you kind of need these things. Although it does make it super slick. So that's one thing. I will say before we get to a lot of other stuff, mine, due to some of the struggles I was having with transformation, I think his center torso bit here has worked really loose. Like, and I don't know how to tighten that up because I'm assuming it's just a C shape or a disc shaped thingy that's, you know, encapsulated within here. But it has gotten really loose, and that bothers me. But I don't know what else to do about it. Let's do Calm Parasol real quick. He is one of the bigger boys, so let's see how he compares to Optimus. He's very bulky, but Optimus is still taller. Makes sense. But now I'm wishing I had a Megatron. Here is the Bumblemeister. Short, even shorter, not even quite waist high. And our mainline comparison. The Siege figure. It's not a fair comparison by any means, but you know, it's a thing. And with the two we've looked at so far, with Mixmaster and Scrapper, so far it's a good looking team. By the end of this, I'm going to have to back out like 4 feet just to get them all in the shot together. But big green and purple team. And by the way, guys, if I didn't really address it, this is the quote-unquote perfect edition, so the colors are a bit different. It comes with all the stuff. And, of course, comes as a set instead of individual figures like they have in the past. Now, for articulation... Never mind. The head is on a super tight swivel and a ball. Yeah, I think it's just a swivel. Yeah. So an up and down, side to side swivel. And one thing you'll notice, so that's perfectly fine there, but he does have very limited light piping. Later on, when we get to transformation, when the head lays down, this definitely likes to split. However, one of the reasons for that is the fact that there's a little bit down here underneath the neck that's supposed to tilt up, so like when his neck rolls back, it doesn't look as bad. And it'd come apart on me, like from out of the factory. So I think that's one reason why that head was always like had the wrong stresses on it, so to speak. We've already covered rotation. He can spin super fast. And I guess in theory, no, I think he's tabbed in. Oh yeah, he can tilt up. So you can make use of the reverse ab crunch like that. Shoulders, due to transformation, do that number. The wheels here, if you want to consider that part of movement, that's fine. He does go all the way around. The shoulder itself can go straight out. Arm goes straight out, and if you hold on to the thumb, that happens. Yeah, I've popped thumbs off several times. Once again, very much like MG Gundam hands. And single jointed, highly ratcheted elbow is what it is. By the way, guys, if you have this set, let me know if your hands are equally as sore from transforming this guy. You got flap skirts here in all directions, so he can completely expose himself like Marilyn Monroe. Just the legs, good God, super squeaky. Probably the best Jean-Claude out of the group, if I'm honest. Shush. See, when things are that tight, it gets worrisome, especially considering I was getting tighter as I was manipulating it. So you should have rotation, and it's kind of bothering me that it's not rotating. There we go. Because I was thinking it was here, because it feels like that should be it. But now I'm just concerned that I don't want to screw things up. He does technically have a double jointed knee here and here, but that's about as far as you're going to get before you run into those tires. I forgot he can kick forward that good. He can kick all the way back. That's nice. As we saw earlier in the footage, massive ankle rocker and foot can drop down. So he can like really step out if you need him to. Be like, hi. Even like around like so. But, you know, as dynamic poses go, you wouldn't think that the big, bulky guy is the one who can get the strongest poses, but he's pretty wide. Wide stance. I'm gonna get you. And I guess, yeah, you slide that in. But like I said before, if you don't have those foot extensions, it could get kind of hairy. Look at that. Look at that guy. All right, so next up, transformation. All right, guys. Now we gotta get this big boy into truck mode. Now, he does have some of the less complicated transformations, but it doesn't mean it's easy, because some of the stuff is kind of a pain in the butt. So let's work down here on the legs first. Pull off the feet plates. Once again, those are in there pretty good. And didn't show it off before, but there's some nice like molding underneath there. And you can go ahead and just plug the two bits of the bed together. Put those like so. And this will be the part that I screwed up. So originally, I was trying to get this guy from combine mode into truck mode, and I left the wheels like this. There's an obvious problem here. It's these big tabby tabs right there. And I missed that the first time. So open up the wheel like so, and just fold it out all the way, just to give yourself some clearance, or else you'll royally screw it all up. So you want to just fold this up pretty much like so. Good to go. Now, if you had that down, it would really tab in things. So that little thing will somehow tab in right there, like so. Fix the wheel. Hopefully this side will tab in the right spot, and it did. So that's good. So we're already halfway there. So this is like about a G1 as it gets, right? So we're going to come to the hands, which I've already pre-folded away the fingers and stuff, because, well, it's one less thing to do on camera. Rotate up, flip in. You got tab. Then we'll just lightly tab into there. Rotate. Once again, spudgers are your best friend. Sorry. There we go. And yeah, my spudgers, both of which have gotten a lot of mileage just working with these guys, if I'm honest. Okay, where are we now? Let's see here. Don't have to mess with the wheels as of yet, but get in there. Oh yeah, come back here. Go ahead and unplug that. It's on a double hinge, and you've got a couple sets of holes. Only one of those comes in handy for the time being. I'm going to come up here, unplug that, unplug that, and now you can rotate this whole section up. So now you expose the cab, plug that back in, do the same thing over here. Now, the bumper section here will be in the way, so you can kind of only rotate one way. So there's that. I mean, it's not crazy. It's just, there. Now you want to take these little bits, flip them out. Now you've got a cavity there. Go ahead and rotate the head around and then flip it down. And that's what I was talking about right there. You see how these two pegs are here? That's supposed to be attached to that. So this hole is not big enough for this piece to come through. So I need to take a knife, score this, and then put that back in place. So that's basically how that's going to go. And then you can flip this up. You got two pegs, you got two prongs. Apply thusly. And then I think you can go ahead and pull this up. And the two pegs that were on the back of that will now plug in like so. And you want to come up here to the bumper. You'll untab it from inside here. There's a little tab right in there. And then rotate it up and it'll be squeaky. Well, it was going to be squeaky. Then you got tabs, or slots. And this one has some tension to it, so it never sits flush. Like out of the box, it was super tight. Now, not so much. Okay. Now we need to rotate the wheel outward. And you can see here, this little L-shaped hole. If you rotate just right, and then you pull the wheel, it's hard to explain. So the wheel is rotating on its own little axis thingy, and there's a little tab inside it that will line up with that, like so. And so that actually drops the wheel down pretty low, and that's what we're going for. And so let's see, where am I? So we want to fold this over itself, and this is where these tight ass ratchets really come into play. Like, I used to not have issues with this, and then it started getting harder. Basically, you want to end up with the arm blocked up like this. This peg will go into that hole, and if I'm lucky, it'll go in one shot. There we go. That was nice. That was good. Let's just keep that rolling. And if you've got everybody lined up properly, it'll look like that. Now, this one wheel, due to what I did to it before, it's not the best thing in the world. That tab is just strange. You can finagle the wheel just a little bit if you need to. Now, let's see if I can do this side a little bit easier than I did that side. So you want to fold it up here, up and over. It's kind of annoying me, to be honest. Get those corners past each other, or else it won't go. Come on. It's that heavy ratchet, dude. It just won't go. It's also like it's tolerant a little too much. So like I need to sand those edges down or something. Like there's more friction here than there is down here. And fold that guy up. Pull, hole. And the last time I did this, it was super tight. Now if you don't move the wheel, that's what you end up with. So now we can rotate the wheel down and around. And I can't show the tab, but you can see it in there. And when you get it, you'll feel it. And there we go. So he's not complicated, but he can be difficult. That's the only thing about him. And now these back wheels that are a little bit weird, like he's not quite rolling flat. And he looks funny because all the weight is over this area and there's like next to nothing back here. So it looks a little bit weird, if I'm honest, but he's still good. Maybe finagle the wheels just a little. But yeah, he's not even rolling on the back wheels. They're just there. But he does roll nice, at least on the front wheels. And you do actually get an extra little bit of playability with these. Okay, so let's go with this one. So you take this little peg here, You tuck it inside there, do the same thing on the other side, and sort of combine those. Now you get a bed cover. So they give you extra playability instead of just some foot plates for one-time use. So that's awesome. I dig that. I dig that a lot. And of course, if you wanted to plug his gun in, I don't know which gun is his. Let me take a stab at it and say this one. There's two of them over here. You can plug in there if you really wanted to. Don't have to. Also, that's super tight. Over. By the way, he's really hefty. There's a ton of weight in this section. Hey, my video's done exporting. And we'll bring in MP10. So you can see a big old dump truck next to, you know, an 18-wheeler. Pretty good size. Then a siege-sized car, which to me is probably close in reality. Like I said, I don't have any of my MP cars transformed. And then we'll pull back a little bit because we're going to start running out of room here. We'll bring in Mixmaster and Scrapper for size comparison. So he's stubby in comparison. So if I line up the back ends roughly like that, you know, he's pretty short. I mean, even in comparison to this. In a lot of other iterations, including the Hasbro version, he's like the biggest because in a lot of versions, he's also carrying the legs, or at least the thigh parts. In this version, no. But like I said, my main criticism of the vehicle mode is there's just nothing going on under here. I feel like that's just kind of an oversight, so to speak, or undersight. But I like him. He's a good dump truck, and I guess in theory, if you wanted to, let me see here. Let me see if he still has the dump truck playability in this form. So I want to unplug him from the back here, ever so carefully, because I don't want everything to get let loose. Just unplug, and then move up. Yeah, so the wheels will move, but you can sort of get a dump truck, like, you know, he's dumping. But he's a good dump truck. I like it. It looks pretty good, with the exception over here. I think really it's the weight up here that makes it look funky, less than the lack thereof back here. But I do wish that tab was the same shape as the hole it was going into. It's a little bit weird. I don't understand why they do that, but for the most part, there he is in vehicle mode. Alright, so let's get this guy into combine mode now, and it's not a huge stretch from what he currently is. We want to untab the back legs, or back wheels, and straighten them out, and fold them forward like that. So he's like a hover truck, which, not gonna lie, it's kind of cool. You can leave these guys on here, doesn't really matter. You want to snap them in half, like you normally would do. And let's see here. Okay, we want to drop this down, except that doesn't want to go down now. So hold on, I got to split these, which were hard enough to get in place as it was. Where'd my spudger go? There we go. I always forget that he will not rotate with that there. So this whole section here flips down. You leave the bumper as is. Now here is one minor difference. You want to actually bring the knees up flush like that. So they're next to each other like that, and then tab it up as such. And then take the top section. We want to bring it back. Oops, don't do that. Bring the top section back just to that area. And you want to grab these guys. I'm going to pick them up. And why is this weird? Oh. I always forget. That doesn't move. I'm stupid. The legs fold down, dummy. Like that. I knew something wasn't right. So fix that. Straighten that up. You want that. I'm stupid. But you can leave these undone because of how that's got to attach. And then this, my bad, now plugs into the roof. Plug the feet into the roof for stability. I know that sounds funny, but that's what it is. And then these guys will plop over like that. They're supposed to sit on top of the head, or at least the one is, and it is just not happy. So that's about as good as that's going to get. You can see that's a little bit wonky, and then this whole thing just annoying. So you got your 4 connection points here, and then got some connection points back there. But honestly, that's it for his combined mode. It's super simple. I think you could possibly, I don't know if you have to do this, but you can rotate the wheels. Maybe, I don't know if that's really a thing or not, but you know, that's pretty much it for that. So super simple, the easiest one, except if you're screw up like I do. I always forget these are your connection tabs. Stupid. So, all right, that's it for that. Let's go on to final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts wise, I like him. He does have his issues, especially in transformation to combine mode. It is very difficult to, you know, start combining some of the things together, and going into truck mode, very similar issues. But that being said, once you learn in the instructions that, or you actually don't learn from the instructions, how things are supposed to go, especially the placement of the wheels on the backs of the legs and stuff like that, it makes advancements. Like I screwed mine up. Hopefully I didn't do any lasting damage. I haven't seen any so far, except maybe this torso. But as it goes, he's a good one. I like his design overall, especially in bot mode is fun. Truck mode is just what it is. I think the wheelbase looks a little short, but he was always kind of a stubby, big thing. The inclusion of the covers, so to speak, for the feet, and then like I like that it can go on for the bed as well, is pretty cool. Now there are extra bits coming in, of course, for the final combination mode. That you'll see when we get to actual Devastator, but from there, it's pretty cool. I do have one other concern, that's just that one of these, I forget which tire it is super tight to rotate around. I'm scared that that's going to snap off one day, but for the most part, everything seems to be fairly well tight, and, you know, or not tight, but fairly well secure and strong. So I'm only really concerned about the stresses in like these joints, things like that. And I really hope that this piece for the neck doesn't pop off again, because it's definitely, it's troublesome to say the least, but I can see why it's there. But if you guys like this big hauler, give me a big ol' thumbs up, hit that subscribe-ish button, because he would want you to. And of course, if you want to help support the channel, check out the Patreon. Those guys get to see stuff behind the scenes and whatnot. And of course, they get to pick stuff as I go. And of course, every little bit will help. And if you want to grab t-shirts or anything like that, all the descriptions are down below. And that's it for this review, guys. I will catch you on the next one. And remember, as always, keep on constructing.